beige flag is that I arrive 5 hours prior the actual moment where the embarcation, I forgot how to say that, but I arrive 5 hours in advance at the airport. So my flight is actually in 10 hours, but I'll make sure not to be late. Super freak, she's super freaking. So I'm back home and I actually really don't have any time to vlog right now because we're now 10:45 a.m. and I have to be at the airport at 1, max 2 p.m. because we gotta leave the car at my fiance's mom's place and maybe eat a little something before getting on the plane. I feel like I've manifested that vacation for so long, it kind of feels unreal to me. Because I might be a little spoiled princess. It's been a while since I've been on vacation. I am fully gonna enjoy that. You have... I'm just gonna cover my imperfections. I like to say imperfection because it implies that otherwise I'd be perfect. And I'm not perfect, but I keep trying. Also, I have to figure out how to put this into this because I need to have my Dior. I am not bringing any book with me because I'm done pretending like I'm actually gonna read there. It is so not gonna happen. I'm done giving myself a little intellectual vibe. I already found my husband. I don't need to pretend. Okay. I gotta go. Bye, flowers. Mwah. Love you. I think we're done. I have like a bubble of anxiety in my stomach, but it's good anxiety. It's just like I might die tonight. So we just made it to the first gate and they requested us to open our suitcases and it almost burned my film camera. The narcissist and me cannot. Like I cannot have random people opening up my life and personal items in front of other people. I almost cried. I'm still almost crying. So warm. It's like 7 a.m. and it's already like 25 degrees. I am in heaven. Here we are, so we landed at 7 a.m., dropped our suitcases at the hotel and started right away exploring the city. Our check-in was at 12, so I had to wash my face in the sink with 45 minutes of sleep in my body. So now, let's start that video with a big, huge, fat, jumbo-sized trigger warning because I didn't get the vacation glow here. I was sleep deprived for the entire trip and severely dehydrated. Plus, I had alcohol with cigarettes every night, so that was probably one of the unhealthiest weeks of my life. So just no judgy on my skin or eye bag. Thank you! It's so fucking beautiful. So that was the first gelato we had and it quickly became a post-beach tradition for us. These look like lemons. this point we were pretty tired, but I wanted to keep going because I'm young and crazy, but my old man was really tired, so we went back for a well-deserved night of sleep. Our first activity was a treasure hunt, which I highly recommend starting with for both kids and adults. It was such a fun way to get to know the city and its history. Plus, there's actually a treasure at the end, so don't skip that one. For dinner, we had rabbit at Lo Bueno and finally tasted Malaga's famous drink, vermouth. They serve it on ice with a slice of orange, and it's absolutely refreshing and delicious. We quickly had a second one. That's the way we spent most of our nights, walking around, kissing around, and having a drink at different places. So that was a pretty accurate night of ours. Our third day in Spain started with visiting the Alcazaba fortress and the Gibralforo castle. The Alcazaba, meaning citadel in Arabic, dominates the city's skyline and bay at a strategic point where a Phoenician fortress once stood. Without a doubt, it is one of the historical and iconic monuments of the city, an excellent place to visit and learn more about the history of Malaga. So, quick pause here. As you can see, it's written voice off, explain the place, yada yada. It's because initially in my first draft that I obviously saved and couldn't change afterward. I mean, I could have, but I'm lazy. So, just ignore that. Anyways, let's get back to the topic. The fortress was built during the period of Muslim-ruled Al-Andalus. The current complex was begun in the 11th century and was modified or rebuilt multiple times up to the 14th century. It is one of the best preserved alcazabas in Spain. The Muslim period in Spain is often described as a golden age of learning, where libraries, colleges, public baths were established, and literature, poetry, and architecture flourished. Both Muslims and non-Muslims made major contribution to this flowering of culture. In addition to the Muslim influence, this area of the country once experienced a big Roman presence many moons ago, and as such, the former empire has left a hefty mark on the landscape. So after all that crazy walking, we got so thirsty / hungry. Unfortunately, all there is to eat there is probably like ham and cheese. So I was actually not in the mood for that because we didn't have access to a kitchen to cook. So I ended up being a juice, cava, and ice cream. That was definitely my diet in Malaga. Then we finally ate something else than ice cream, and we had dinner at what turned out to be one of the best local spots for food called Cortillo de Pepe. We ordered pretty much everything on the menu, then we kept walking, drinking vermouth, and messed around. At this point of the evening, it was pushing 1 or 2 a.m., so I was getting real tipsy and real tired, so I needed a moment to slay in the bathroom a little bit. If you know, you know. So since my husband cannot get out of bed, I am going alone to the cafe this morning. So today for the first time we have nothing booked, nothing absolutely to do. So we're definitely gonna spend the entire day at the beach. Another thing, tapas are actually not the shit here. Like, yeah, okay, they're good. And I'm kind of allergic to seafood, so I feel like I'm missing out on half of their culture. But yeah. Okay, if you follow me, you know that I'm used to like record myself from the weirdest angles, but at least I'm not dehydrated and hangover when I do it. So just remember my trigger warning at the beginning. I am sleep deprived and severely dehydrated, plus the combo with cigarettes, it made me age like 10 years. So just remember to be kind. Thank you. Everybody's looking. I'm looking super stupid. And I found the cafe all by myself. I meant to arrive here. Here? Thank you. Anyways, I'll let you guys go because I am going to write poetry here. Bye. I'm so excited. I am so inspired here, but I'm too active and too happy to sit down and write. But this morning I wanted to take an hour, so let's get down to it. Literally, it's the morning and they're going to drink a big glass of alcoholic drink. So we are starving. We might die in those streets where water doesn't exist. Will we find water? That's another question. Another thing with the people here, you smile to them, you try to interact with them and like be nice, but most likely they won't smile back to you. But I think they had enough for the tourist season because it's been like, we're at the end of the season. It's basically the end of the summer for them. I tried to get some clothing where I could buy some dresses here and everything, but I found nothing and they were all having the little puffers out. So I believe that they're done with the summer here. It's like, they want to move on. Everything was closed after the show. I had to eat the most disgusting meal in my life here. It was like mostly mayo. I'm still traumatized. But then we had a blue moon, so the evening was fine. Good morning. So the next day I had my bimbo moment at 8 a.m. So after having my it girl moment at the supermarket, my fiance finally woke up, so we had some juice together, and then we kept on walking around the city because it became our number one activity in this whole trip. We went to have coffee at El Jardin, and it's a gorgeous, really authentic place of Malaga. I think it's dated from 1887, so pretty much authentic. And it's absolutely beautiful inside. There's a real ambiance there. We definitely came back afterwards. So we're back to the beach, and although this vacation is very fulfilling, very rich regarding culture, regarding history and pleasure, basically, I don't think I could ever live in a country where people just go out in the streets. And I had that conversation with Alex, my fiance, and we both agree that it's really hard. Although like there's a language barrier, we don't speak the language, and maybe people are talking about politics and global, issues and stuff like that, but we definitely have the feeling that people here are just like lounging around between work, and it's very unclear where people work except in like tourism and restaurants and little small companies of clothing and retail. And I wouldn't see myself being able to have the life that I have in Montreal, being able to work and have some gigs here and there. And although I could be a YouTuber probably around here because it's gorgeous, and I know you guys will dig that beauty that I dig myself going to Europe. But it's just out of Europe as well. There's probably a different mentality in the north where it's more concentrated around, practical things, and the economy is more flourishing for that reason, where people don't just lay in the sun all day. But for vacation, it's perfect. Since we don't like to bend on tradition, after going to the beach, we went on another hunt for ice cream and gelato. We tried to go to Casamira, but the lineup was crazy. So we went back to our OG gelato spot, and I had Mrs. Piggy because I was too excited not to have it. It looked so cute. So I had her, and she was delicious. But then it got really hot, and she started falling apart. And then because of the heat, her nose fell off. I was so heartbroken I had to cope with sandwiches. Just kidding, it was for the next day. But look how sexy this meat is, honestly. Then I slayed a little bit more because, when in Europe, and I wore my favorite shoes and my favorite dress to go at the most exquisite place we've been for drinks. It was on a rooftop of a hotel, and the sunset was stunning. So was my fiance, but by that time he was officially done with that vlogging idea. So I just recorded myself and slayed a little more. Then we had a bottle of cava facing the sunset and the mountains, and the view was astonishing, honestly. That those vibrant orange colors are just gonna stay with me forever. The winter will kill the light out of me, but I still try to think of it often. And we had the most amazing conversation about fictional worlds, fantasy, Harry Potter, and we just coped with reality together, and it was really precious. I love him. Then it was finally dinner time, and God bless, because after a bottle of cava I couldn't walk anymore and I needed to put some actual food in that little stomach of mine. So we went back to El Jardin and blessed us with food and live music.
hotel business in irons and steel industries. I didn't know Malaga was the second year anything before working here. But even here, group of spooks.
So we just now arrived at Caminito del Rey. It's starting now. The path starts right here between the rocks, and that's the water underneath. So helmets on, shoes on. We're starting it. I have hardcore vertigo, so this is definitely a like will I die type of experience for me. And I want to feel like I'm able to do it, but I might not be able to do it, but we'll see. If you want to learn more about Caminito del Rey's history, don't hesitate to visit my previous video about Caminito del Rey, where I explain the history of the place and the creation of the path. So if you're interested, the video will be linked in the description box down below. So we went on another rooftop for that evening, and it was next to the fortress and the Roman theater, so it was absolutely charming. Then we finally went for dinner at the famous El Pimpi, where we had the worst service in history, but the place was gorgeous. So the final day came, and for our last morning we decided to have a classic breakfast in Malaga, which is churros dipped in chocolate. It was what it was. It was the idea of it more than the reality of it that I wanted. But it was a real life fantasy to have churros dipped in chocolate as a breakfast. Then I had a moment with my mysterious cafe persona, where I embodied a French New Wave actress, just like sitting at a cafe, writing some stuff down. She's so mysterious. She's so alone. Just kidding, my fiancé recorded the whole thing. That building is the birthplace of the famous Pablo Picasso, and so we ate at Picasso and we had the best piece of meat that we had for the whole trip. We went for a last time at the beach with a full bottle of cava that time. We went crazy. We went wild. We were shit-faced at 3 p.m. That's what I call vacation. Then I got a little bit tipsy and it was time to leave, and I refused to leave and started recording this tape because I was getting real sad to leave her behind me because she's a part of me. And then I look at my fiancé dressing up and I was like, wow. So after he had his Calvin Klein moment, we had our final ice cream, which later on that night I refused it to be our final ice cream because going to bed meant that the vacation would be over, and I refused it to be over. And even though we never had that second ice cream, it still feels like we did because he would have said yes to another ice cream.
Tu veux une autre canne d'assiette?
Oui.
Ouais.
I have to say that people around here, they don't eat fruit. They just don't have a very fruity culture. So I'm stuck to buy an apple wrapped in plastic at the airport.